I'll say this, right? I'm a nobody. But it's like I've been seeing so many people asking Asian creators to speak up about the whole riots in LA and all these deportation things. This is something that a lot of people don't understand. Asian people, we support the country. We support the betterment of the country. We support that. So what is there to say? What is there to say? We support the deportations of illegals. It is honestly tiring because here's the thing: we want the country to be better. We want the country to be better. We want the country to if you did it legally, if you stand in line, if you paid the price, right? You paid the money and all that. You did all the process, the paperwork, all the stuff, which usually most Asian people do. Why would we care about someone jumping the line, crossing the border, and all this stuff? Why should we, be happy about that? We're not really. This is a thing where we're not really dependent. Asian people aren't really dependent on migrant labor, right? Not like other people. We're not really dependent on migrant labor. So we're not gonna cry that the U.S. is pretty much backing what they promised. The U.S. promised, or this presidency promised, that they would deport illegal immigrants. They're doing that. Why are you crying? Why are you crying about it? This is a thing where, you see it like these immigrants are waving the flags of other countries, burning down the flag of the U.S., and then you think Asian people want to support that? No, they want to stay away from that. They don't want to be grouped in with these people. That's the thing. Asian people want to, focus on themselves and their community and their country. They don't want to be grouped in with these people. So really, stop asking Asian influencers to speak up about it, because you won't like what they say. You won't like what they say. So really, it's better off that they do the content that they're doing instead of, say things you don't like. Because here's the thing: Asian people don't want to focus on the negativity and say what they're really thinking. Deport, right? Deport illegal immigrants. They are fine with it.
What I got from this is the fact that as an Asian man speaking out, right, which we know that they do remain under the radar when it comes to a lot of things. Mm-hmm. They do avoid a lot of things because they don't want the backlash, the scrutiny, or whatever the case may be. So they do stay out of the way. And I'm pretty shocked that he mentioned that people were actually requesting for the Asian community to voice their opinion on this. And I'm like, why? Does it really have anything to do with them? I don't think so. So for him to get on here and clear that up, it was pretty good from my perspective.
I mean, for the most part, right? Once you come out of your bubble or your shell, if you will, and you have lived amongst many, many different nationalities and people, you would have more of a brighter insight of how people rock, okay? Now, when it comes down to Asian people, they're very disciplined. That I will definitely give them. But they don't care what's going on. It could be right in front of them. Mm-hmm. If it doesn't attain to them, they're going to walk around it and they're going to mind their business. Mm-hmm. There's certain communities, Asian being one, the Indian community, mm-hmm. the Arab community, the Mediterranean community as well. And I can say this without choosing my words simply because, like I said, I have been exposed to so many different nationalities, multicultural background, if you will. Mm-hmm. And certain groups of people, they don't align themselves with other groups of people, mm-hmm. let alone they don't care what the hell is going on with other groups of people to Correct. Even have a 2 cents to put in. If they want to, let's say, interject or put their little opinion in mm-hmm. on any circumstance or situation, it's choice. Done amongst themselves. Mm-hmm. Amongst themselves, not to be broadcast or broadcasted for the nation mm-hmm. to hear. They've always been this way.
Correct, yeah.
Do you see any Asians taken to the streets protesting? Any Arabs besides, Palestinians and so on and so forth, that right. group of people? But outside of that, mm-hmm. do you see any Indians,
literally don't.
Bangladeshi people, you know what I'm saying? Pakistani people walking and protesting and so on and so forth.
In their country, but not here.
Not even in their country, because in their country, the law is the law of the land. What's set in place, you dare not go against. Because there's something called discipline. Whether you agree with it or agree with it not. You can't speak out against it because they would behead you.
No,
they would have your head on a platter.
That's one thing I've witnessed about the Asian community. They do lead with discipline.
They do. But
So-
nevertheless, like a lot of things that does not pertain to them, they're not getting involved. So for anybody to ask for their insight or input about the situations that's going on with LA, the riots and illegal immigrancy and so on and so forth. Now, don't get me wrong. There's a lot of Asian people that's here as well, right?
Yeah.
That did not do things the right way. Yes, you have a lot of people that did things the right way, just like in any other group. And you also have a lot of them that didn't do stuff the right way either. But nevertheless, you know, he said something along the line that Asians do not rely on migrant labor. To an extent. Okay, to an extent. We have a lot of Asians that do go to school. They get the appropriate education, right? Their family would do whatever it takes, even if they have to move from China, to get their kids here to go to the best schools in order to become the best people, right? But nevertheless, we do have some Asian people
that do rely on migrant labor. Yeah, because
the Chinese restaurants, some of them, not all. And like I said, there's people who have not been exposed to what we've been exposed to. We've seen it all.
Correct.
Or just about almost everything that we could possibly take in, right?
There's just
what about the cleaners?
A fruit stand on every corner.
What about the fruit stands on every corner? Yeah. But you don't rely on migrant labor?
Yeah.
It's bullshit.
Yeah.
Okay? The restaurants. Certain entities that you guys own.
Correct.
You have all of the Central Americans working there. So what he is saying is just, you know, some things, you know, you got to take it with a grain of salt, basically. Some things, yeah, he has, you know, some validation when it comes to certain things. But other things is like, dude, like, are you trying to just paint this narrative? Do you hear yourself? Or are you not that exposed in order to know what it is that you're talking about?
Right.
Right? So, you know.
I do feel like at some point we all need to lean on each other for some sort of support, sort of, you know,
me personally,
sort of
I have
help.
no problem with immigration. I feel like this is a melting pot, and people coming from all different demographics and all different places of the world, once it's done correctly, would definitely allow this country to be greater than what it is. Right? From an economic standpoint, from a cultural standpoint, because we could all learn from one another.
Yeah, of course.
Definitely.
Let us know how you feel in the comment section in regards to this video. And definitely we'll come back to you with another great video just like this one.